dropping from over a meter without pain while wearing Chromexcel boots with little to no creasing. Sounds too good to be true? I'll explain. Grantstone's rubber compound and leather midsole are soft enough to allow for shock absorption. Nowhere near athletic shoe cushioning, but one of the softest versions of a rubber and leather foundation for heritage boots, while still being reasonably long-lasting with good enough traction, as shown in my reviews of other Grantstone boots. Also, I'm not an old man. Yet. And I stay active as a former runner, meaning my joints can handle this force better, so this may not apply to you. But you're likely a sane person who won't be jumping from those heights in heritage boots. As for why the Chromexcel has very little creasing, it could be I got lucky. Though the more likely explanation is from me treating these boots with care. Others may say this is babying the boots. In any case, I don't wear these recklessly. In fact, the time I spend wearing them is around 50% walking, and the rest of the time I'm sitting or standing. All the wear has been on smooth indoor surfaces and concrete, as well as grass, gravel, and wood mulch a handful of times. These are among the first 2 pairs of Grantstone boots I got, so I've worn them much more than you would think. These also show less wear because I don't crouch or lean often when I wear them. When I do, there's minimal impact on the leather because there's plenty of room from the front to back of the shaft, resulting in almost full range of motion for my ankles when leaning and crouching, without much pressure on the leather. What this means is the boots are even easier to take off in terms of the first point my feet enter and the last point my feet exit. Precisely the reason I decided to get them. Along with them appearing to be one of the better Chelsea boots I saw. The gradual curve to the front half of the silhouette from a side view is reminiscent of the appeal Viberg service boots have. At the same time, the heel is on the lower end of the spectrum, so it's not clunky to walk in or disproportionate to look at on flat ground. The back is shaped in a way that's not too curved or straight, which can be an issue with other Chelsea boots, giving them a less appealing appearance and resulting in a worse fit around the heel area. The reason I wanted Chelsea boots was to have a smart casual footwear option I could take on and off easily. Very useful if I know I'm going to many different places for relatively short periods of time, and I'll have to take off my boots before entering the places I'm going to. Yeah, no matter how much I like heritage boots, I can't deny lacing is a big drawback. My feet slide insecurely to the point that when I take them off, the seal created will need some extra force to overcome. So it's not unusual for my socks to get a slight pull forward in the process. All the reviews I've read have mentioned the fit is roomy, which I completely agree with, especially in the front half of the shaft and a bit below it. So basically the lower shin and back half of the top part of my feet is where I feel the most extra volume. Otherwise, the UK last these are built on has a longer and sleeker look, compared to the more common Leo last Grantstone boots are often based on. From my experience, the UK last is only a slight shape variation from the Leo last. A similar feel in the toe box, just a tad less room. The curve down to the heel also feels slightly narrower, which makes sense so that key area of the foot has a bit more pressure to stay in place in the absence of laces. I went with the standard sizing advice of going down half a size from my Brannick measurement and have been satisfied with the fit. In fact, this is one of the best fitting boots I've tried in the midfoot area, where that curvature I talked about going from the toes to the heel has a well-balanced taper, so it holds the midfoot in place without being too tight. It's also recommended to go down a full size if you have low volume feet. This refers to folks with a low instep, given that's where the extra room seems to be. Since the lower foot is relatively secure, and there's plenty of room for ankle mobility, and I appear to fall into the medium to high instep range, it wasn't too surprising to find out I could actually jog in these relatively easily. Sometimes that comes in handy because going back to the reason I bought these, for ease of taking on and off, I occasionally have to pick up the pace when I decide to wear these boots, to quickly put them back on and head to the next place. There is some heel movement, mainly vertically. However, there's little to no movement horizontally, similar to the Leo last. The extra volume at the front half of the shaft allows the entire foot to lunge forward, creating that vertical heel movement. I should say this is minimal if I'm walking normally. but if I take faster and or bigger strides, my heel could be bouncing up and down. I've never had any heel discomfort, though this could be the case if I walk for long stretches and on uneven ground, which I've never done. These fit characteristics have turned people away from this boot and Chelsea boots in general, but I understand the trade-off of having no laces and being able to slip the boot on. The fit also gives me another reason just to wear these lightly and not take them on long journeys, especially on uneven ground. Back to the shaft, it's also a bit lower than the average boot, so it would be advisable to wear pants with a partial to full break, ensuring they get closer to the bottom of your ankles. It's also preferable to wear pants with little to no taper, due to the bigger opening and greater volume of the shaft, coupled with its slightly lower than average height. Wearing these kinds of pants will drastically reduce the chances of the pull tab sticking out, and or the front half of the shaft creating a lump at the bottom of the pants. These are among my less interesting boots because of the light wear they get, but I can't deny they're highly practical for the situations I wear them in. Most all my other boots get more diverse exposure to different conditions, including the Parkhurst Niagara, which I'll be reviewing next. Thanks for watching and see you in that review.